Hello and welcome to this tutorial video that will help you navigate through Area 9's very first virtual assembly. The video will be in three parts. The first part is the online registration process. The second part is installing Zoom, which is the video conference software we'll be using for the assembly. And the third part, which is the bulk of the video, is what I consider webinar number 19. And we sort of run through a practice session of the virtual assembly, and there's lots of Q&A at the end, so stick around for that. And I realize it's a long video, longer than normal that I have for these videos. However, you can just watch in portions and come back anytime to finish up. But I do hope you watch it through the entire video, because we will be going over some minute details that may seem small, but they are very important. So we're starting here on the area website, www.afgarea9.org. And this is the main page, and I'm just going to go over to the events page to find the online registration. And here on the area events page, it says right here, register below. You can either click this button here that says online registration, or you can even click the image if you want. The bottom buttons will actually take you to the virtual assembly meeting web page, which is where the reports are, and clicking this date as well will take you to that same page. So the online registration is available through this picture and also this button. So I'm going to click the picture just for an example. So here is the online registration form, which we'll briefly go over. Just want to point out the deadline is Wednesday, July 15th at 5 o'clock. And the Zoom meeting code and password will only be emailed to members that have registered in advance. We are not posting the Zoom meeting info online, and we request that nobody post that online on their district websites either, just for security reasons. Alright, so I'm going to fill this out as Jane Doe, first name, and my full last name, so not just the initial, whatever your full last name is. And email address, I'm just going to type in just anything for this example. Phone number, whatever is the best number to reach you at. For this example, I'm just typing in something very simple. Attending as. The thing with this one is you can select more than one choice. So some people hold two positions. They might be an event chairperson, and they might also be a district rep, for example. So for this example, though, I am Jane Doe, and I'm just a group representative, so I'm going to click that button, and we'll scroll down. And voting member at assembly, only group reps or alternate group reps vote at assembly. So since in this example I'm a group rep, I'm going to say yes, I'm a voting member. And my district number, I'm going to say I'm from District 6. If you're not sure of your district, you can go ahead and check that, and the group records coordinator will get back to you. Alright, and this is very important here. For assembly, we're using a specific special naming system. So it goes in order of district number first, then your service position second. For example, if it's an area panel position, you list that first, then your group rep position, and then your first name and last initial. And very crucial is for members in districts 1 through 9, please add a 0 right before your district number. That way the list will sort numerically and it'll be correct. And I've pasted an example below. Also, please do not use any capital letters. Do not include any symbols such as periods, hyphens, slashes, or commas. Just use spaces so we can have a participants list on the Zoom call that will look similar to something like this, where your district number is the very first thing you type in, then your position, and first name, last initial. The nice thing about this is once we do start to get more and more people in the meeting, it will be grouping them by their district. So they're all kept together and easy to easy to manage, and it will help out the district rep for roll call. When the district rep has to look down the list to see how many voters are actually on the call. Alright, so question number 8, using the screen naming system mentioned above, please enter how your personal screen name will look before entering the meeting, and this will help us know who we are admitting in from the waiting room. So for this example, I said I was District 6, and the next thing is my position, so I'm a GR, and you don't need to spell out group rep, you can use abbreviations, and then my first name and last initial. So that completes that one. My home group name that I'm representing, I'm going to say is Sunday Serenity, and home group city, let's say Terry's, since that's in District 6. Day of the week, we meet on Sunday because we're Sunday Serenity. And the type of device that I'll be using to call into the Zoom call, we have multiple choices here. You can only select one though. We're hoping you only connect via one device. If you are connecting via 2 devices, you can click other and then spell out what that is. For example, if your computer does not have a webcam and you need to call in but also use your computer as kind of a combination, that's when you would click other. For this example, I'm going to say I'll call in using my desktop or laptop PC. Would you prefer having a Spanish interpreter? This one I'm going to say no, but we left that open for anybody that says yes, so we can flag that for our area Spanish coordinator. And if you have any specific questions you'd like answered by the area group records coordinator, you can type that in here. These questions are optional. This other one, what specific questions would you like answered by the area technology coordinator? For example, how do I download Zoom on my phone? Or whatever your question is. And so we know you're a real live person and not a bot, since this form is going to be online on our area website. We just ask that you answer the question, what is 5 plus 5? And you can answer by spelling it out, or you can put in the number. Either way is fine. And we'll hit submit. So here's the message that you get after submitting. Thank you for your interest in attending Area 9's first virtual assembly. Your answers have been submitted, and you'll receive a separate email confirmation after your details are reviewed, because our area group records coordinator will need to cross-check information that she has against her master list of groups and group reps, just to make sure everything is matching what she has. And as soon as that information is cross-checked, you'll get an email, which I'll be showing you here in a minute, with your confirmation. But we did include this line here. Please click here to go directly to the assembly web page for additional information. So this is where you would go if, say, you want to read reports and find out what's going on with the agenda or stuff that needs to be voted on. That's just a quick way to get to that page. So I'm going to close that here. Before I show you the email confirmation that you get for your registration, I just want to show you one more thing down here, that if you're attending as a guest, where your position has no voice, no vote, you're just there as an observer, a guest, we don't actually have anything listed for guest. What you want to select is visitor. And again, if it's something where you're just not sure, feel free to not check that one, but check this one that says not sure, and we will contact you. So once your registration's been cross-checked, then you'll receive an email with your confirmation, and this is the example of what that registration confirmation email will look like. We're also going to include a link to this tutorial video that you're watching right now. If for any reason that you have a question that is not covered in this video, please let us know by replying back to this confirmation email. And again, the Zoom meeting info and password, just to keep our meeting safe, do not forward it to anybody else or post it online. It is only for people that have registered in advance. If you have not yet downloaded Zoom, you could go to www.zoom.com and download it from there. Or you could click on this link, and even if it's days before the meeting, that's okay. And for this particular example, I'm going to download it from the very beginning. So it says otherwise download and run Zoom. So I'm going to click on that once. And I can see my downloading starting here at the very bottom left corner of my screen. I'm installing this on a PC, and I think these steps are very similar on a Mac. And I'm going to click on that once. I get a security warning. Do you want to run this file? I'm going to say yes, run. The installation process is pretty quick, and it says please do not close this window. If you plan to use maybe a mobile device such as a tablet or just your phone to join the meeting, you'll actually need to download this particular app. And if you're on an iPhone, you want to get it from the App Store. If you're on an Android or a Google device, you want to get it from the Google Play Store. But just to point out, this is exactly the one that you want to get, because there are other different types like Zoom Rooms and different apps that sound like Zoom, but this is definitely the one that you want, Zoom Cloud Meetings with this icon. So then you get this screen, and it's going to be the step before it takes me into the waiting room. However, if this is days before the meeting, it won't let you fully into the meeting because the meeting has not started, and it will mention the actual date and time of the meeting. However, you at least know that you have Zoom correctly installed when you see the screen, and you can cancel and just come back later for the virtual assembly to sign in. One of the nice things about Zoom is that you do not need to sign up for an account in order to join a meeting, which is why you have this screen here about entering your name and the meeting password. It doesn't require you to give any other information about yourself before you join the meeting. So instead of canceling, I'm going to pretend in this example that today is the day of the meeting and we definitely want to join. So I'm going to enter in that special screen name from the registration form. So I know it's going to be my district number first. And if I'm in district 1 through 9, I need to make sure I have a 0 in front of it. And then my position is GR for group rep. And my first name and last initial. And then we'll enter in our meeting password. Make sure it's case sensitive. And if this is the name that you would use all the time for Zoom meetings, you could leave this checked, which says remember my name for future meetings. If you do not want to have it remembered by Zoom, you can just click it to uncheck it. And we're just going to hit join meeting. So this is an example of a waiting room. And at this point, your screen name was sent over to the host to say 06GR Jane D is looking to enter the meeting. If you wanted, this would be a good place to test your computer audio right here by clicking this once. There's a place to test your speakers. You can already see that I'm speaking and my microphone is definitely working because it's responding to my voice. And if we click test speaker, it'll play a tone that I should be able to hear. If I don't, then I can switch my speakers to something else on my computer. And I'll click this to show it plays a little sound. And if you wanted to, you could even check your video, preview how it looks before you go into the meeting by clicking the video button. But for now, I'm just going to close out of this. And the host will be letting me in shortly. So there we go, the host has now let me into the meeting. I am officially in the meeting, however, nobody can hear me because I have not joined yet with my computer audio. And my video is currently off, so nobody can see me. But they do see that Jane D has joined the meeting. So in order for me to be heard and for me to also hear others, I need to click this button, Join with Computer Audio. So we'll do that. And I come into the meeting with my microphone muted so I don't interrupt anything going on. I can always start my video by clicking here, and then others will be able to see me. So I'm going to click on that once. And if you like to talk to somebody, if it's before the meeting, you'll be able to unmute yourself just by clicking this far left corner here. And just a quick note, if you have used Zoom before and you've used a different name, and you've also checked Remember My Name for future meetings, there's a possibility that when you try to enter a meeting, you won't be able to rename yourself before going in because this default has been selected. And that's okay, we can rename you once you're in the meeting. A tech helper will reach out to you to make sure that your name appears as the special screen name that you're registered with. And here's an example of what that screen would look like if your default name was remembered, because it's only asking me for the meeting password. And that's fine. Like I mentioned, you can type in the meeting password and just join the meeting, and we'll help you once you're inside the meeting to get you named properly. And if you have signed up for an account with Zoom, another way to change your name, if you've already set your default, you can actually go into your profile under your account once you've signed in. Go to your profile button. To the right will be an edit button, and it'll take you to this screen where you can change your name. So for example, if we wanted it to match up with our screen name, we could do our first name is 06GR, and our last name could be the Jane D. So changing it here in your profile will definitely change your default name, so that's something to keep in mind. But it'll at least allow you to join the meeting with your screen name for the assembly instead of some other name. And you just want to make sure you hit Save Changes down here. And one last comment is, if you're joining in with someone else's device, you may not be able to rename them. You may have to use whatever name is on their device, and that's okay too. We're just hoping to get as many people to rename themselves before they enter a meeting, because that will definitely help out our tech helpers the day of the meeting. And so there's my screen name. Alright, well let's switch over now to the actual meeting that is about to begin for our mini virtual assembly. Welcome to webinar number 19! Woo! This webinar is an example of a mini virtual assembly, so you can see how it will be run. For example, how we do roll call, how we do motions, and voting. We don't have time to cover all the buttons, but we will at least want to cover the basics so you'll be able to participate. Our Spanish area coordinator, or our area Spanish coordinator, is providing Spanish translations via the closed caption feature. So if you'd like to follow along with that, you can click the closed caption button. At the bottom of your screen, if you hover down with your mouse, when all the features pop up at the bottom, that will show you a closed caption button to click. And clicking on that will also allow you to access more settings. You can click Show Subtitle. They'll pop up on the bottom of your screen. You can click View Full Transcript, and it'll pop out as a side panel on your screen. Or you can click Subtitle Settings, and you can choose the size of your subtitles. And also down below on that screen, you can choose your display of your chat size if you like to enlarge your text for that. Okay. And that's all going to be on the video there. I have a little demonstration computer on this side that I'll be moving over to. Alright, because we're anticipating a lot of attendees, for your screen name, we'll be using a special naming system which will be explained on the registration form. Be sure to rename yourself before entering the meeting, but if not, that's okay. You can rename yourself by clicking the Participants button and clicking the blue More button, and then choose your rename. So I'm going to hover my mouse down at the bottom, and I see someone asked, how do I turn on the closed caption feature? So if you hover your mouse at the bottom, the little buttons pop up, and that's where you'll see the option to click participants. And if you need to turn on closed captioning, it's about the third button over from participants. So I'm going to show you how to rename yourself. We have somebody in the meeting that is, the demonstration computer is, right now it's named 6, Jane D. GR. And I'm going to click my participants button, and I'm going to hover over my name over to the right on the side panel of participants, and there's a blue button that says more. I'm going to click rename, and so the naming system that we're using is your district number first, then your service position, then your first name, and your last initial. So I'm going to change this one to 06 GR, because Jane D in this case is a group representative, and then Jane and D. So 06 GR Jane D. I'm going to click OK. So no symbols, no spaces, no symbols at all, just spaces. And if you're in districts 1 through 9, we ask that you add a 0 before your district numbers so that the list will sort correctly in numerical order. And it looks like it's doing that right now. Everybody's got their name listed, so with the districts looking good in our side panel. That's fantastic. All right. And the other thing I just want to mention real quick is that we are asking all questions be held until the very end. Because we're doing these closed captions, we're following a script right now, and we're hoping that the script will answer all the questions as we go through it. But right now, our Spanish coordinator is copying and pasting stuff from the script into the closed captions, so she doesn't have to type everything. All right. Also, just want to let you know that if you're not able to rename yourself when you're in the meeting, if you're having any technical issues with that, we will have tech helpers to assist you so we can get everyone sorted correctly in the participant side panel. They may send you a private chat message that goes only to you to ask you to rename yourself. So I'm going to show an example of that on my demonstration computer. To open up the chat, I've got to go down to the very bottom of my computer again to hover there, and then I'll see to the right of the participants button is a chat button, and I click on that, and I can either send a message to everyone if I just typed in a message, because it defaults to everyone. But if I was going to type a message, say if I was just going to maybe ask for help, I can send it out to everybody, but it's better if it's sent privately. So you guys just saw the broadcast message to everybody in the chat. And this time I'm going to send a private message just to, let's say, one of our tech helpers. Okay, so that's, I just wanted to show that on the demonstration computer. All right, so we renamed ourselves. We talked about the chat. As far as the renaming, if you've previously attended AWSC, the Area World Service Committee meeting, this screen naming system is the one big change that we've made for assembly. So we're hoping that will make the roll call go a lot smoother. The names that will be kept on the very top of the participants list will be the host and the co-hosts, which includes the area chairperson, myself, and the tech helpers. The meeting will begin with the reading of the legacies, and the area chairperson will go over the discussion procedures and the electronic etiquette, which I'll briefly go over the etiquette portion here, and then you'll get to see it in action. So the first thing is mute all will be on throughout the entire meeting. We're going to have 200 plus people, so I can't be doing unmute all. So mute all is going to be on throughout the entire meeting. The audio only from the assembly will be recorded. It'll be recorded by the area secretary for purposes of the meeting minutes. So to ask a question, you'll want to use the blue raise hand feature, and that's again when you hover your mouse down, you click the participants button, it opens up the side panel, and you'll see it's a blue hand that says raise hand underneath it. And I'm going to use this on my demonstration computer. I'm going to click it once, and it raises me to the top of the list as far as what the host and the co-host see. So that way, if we have 200 people, when you raise your hand using this hand feature, the host and the co-host will be able to see you, and you can be recognized by the area chairperson. And we'll have a tech helper that will be muting and unmuting members. All right, so once your question is answered, or if somebody else has already asked the question that you were going to ask, you can re-click the same button, this blue raise hand button, and that will lower your hand. So you'll be listed again with your district in the side panel. So clicking it once raises it right there, and clicking it one more time is just a toggle button, makes it go away. All right, so I'll get that for the demonstration computer. Okay. To turn on or off your camera, you want to click on the button. Again, you want to scroll down, get the controls to pop up at the bottom. It's on the far left corner of your screen that pops up, and it's a toggle button. So it will either say start video or stop video, depending on whether your computer's webcam is on or off. So I'm just circling it here on my demonstration computer. Ideally, we'd love to see everyone, but the decision to have your camera on will be one that can depend on your privacy, your anonymity, your internet connection speed, or the type of device that you're using, among many other things. But please keep in mind, if your video is on, and I can't stress this enough, we can see everything that you're doing. For example, if you're eating, if you're picking food out of your teeth, etc., we're going to see it all. So please be aware of that, and be sure to wear pants for the assembly meeting. Can't stress that enough. All right. If you'd like to see many people on your screen all at once, you can switch to gallery view, and that's at the top right corner of your screen. And let's see, because we'll have so many people, so this will be gallery view I'm clicking on here. Because we'll have so many people, I think it only shows maybe 25 people per screen, but you can click on the right side, there'll be an arrow on the right side to scroll through all the pages and pages of people. All right, so that's just a toggle button. So clicking the button shows what you're about to switch to. So I'm going to switch now to If you like to just see who is ever speaking, you can switch to speaker view. So I'm going to do that right now. And I'm going to leave this on speaker view for the demonstration computer. All right. So that's just the toggle button. So you can select whichever view you prefer. Just let you know, it only changes it for your personal screen. It does not affect what anybody else sees on their screen. All right, the chat feature will be enabled for the assembly. Short general messages will be put into the chat for everyone to see. For example, you've already seen some already. For example, the one about everyone is now muted. We will have a tech helper monitoring the chat, and if you are experiencing any technical issues, you can reach out to them by sending a private chat that only they will see. And we have a specific tech helper to reach out to, the one monitoring the chat. They'll be easy to spot because they'll be near the top of the participants list, and they're going to have the helper's phone number listed first, followed by their name. We thought that worked really well at AWSC. All right, and I believe we showed chat already, but just to double check, on the demonstration computer, I'm clicking chat off, and I'm clicking it back on, so you can scroll down and see all the chat messages. You'll only be able to see any messages that are sent to everyone or to you privately. And if it's sent to you privately, it'll say the words privately in red right after the message that was sent to you. All right. So due to the large meeting size, we respectfully ask that the chat feature not be used for socialization, or socializing, I should say, with other members, as it will be a distraction. Some might consider it crosstalk, but we want everybody to focus on the meeting. If you are having technical issues that cannot be solved quickly, I can assign you and a tech helper into a breakout room. This is what we're going to call the tech room. And this will be the only breakout room at assembly. And we'll show an example of this right now. So I'm going to say, let's go. I'm going to have you, the District 9 DISL, if you reached out for help. And I'm only going to put you and our tech helper in there. Okay. So you'll get a message you will be the only one to get a message on your screen that says to go in the tech room. And then basically once you're in that room, I'm just going to bring you right back. It's just an example. Okay. All right. So they'll leave the main session and they'll drop off the participants list and they go into a separate room, a separate meeting where they can talk and it won't disturb the main session. Hopefully once they resolve the tech issue, they'll come back to rejoin us and show up in the participants list again. So I'll ask them to come back into the main room now and rejoin us, since this is just an example, so they'll pop back up into the participants list again and rejoin our main session. All right, and I see them. Yep, they're there. Okay, so they're back in the room. Fantastic. All right. So that's, again, just to stress, that's the only time we're using a breakout room, is just for technical issues. And if it's something where you need to talk to that person directly without disturbing the main room. All right. After the discussion procedures are read, the area secretary will give his report and we'll do roll call. you want to be sure, when roll call happens, be sure to have your participants list up on your screen. So click that participants button at the very bottom. Make sure you have that clicked. So that when your name is called, you can click the blue raise hand button, and this will temporarily move you to the top of the list so you can be recognized as being present for the meeting. You don't have to, we're not going to mute you or unmute you. You don't have to say here. Just by doing that raise hand will show us that you're here. So let's do a quick roll call example. But for anonymity purposes on this webinar, instead of me calling out your actual name, I'm going to say your position, and you can use the raise hand feature as a way to show that you're here. After you're recognized, you can then re-click the same button to lower your hand. So, okay, I'm going to say District 9 DISL, are you here? And then you click on the blue raise hand. Yep, I see it. Okay, you're here. Great. So now she'll unclick that. Perfect. She goes back down. And then how about our area chair? Our area chair, are you here? Yep, I see her at the top of the list. Perfect. And you can lower your hand. Perfect. And then I'll call on my demonstration computer. So I'll say Jane D. From District 6, are you here? And I'll click my little blue hand, and the secretary will say okay, or great, or something like that to acknowledge she saw my hand, and I'll just unclick it again. So hopefully roll call will go very quickly. With a lot of people, you know, we got to make sure we pack our patience. All right, moving right along. Since this is a business meeting, we'll be making motions and voting on several different items. So once the area chairperson calls for a motion, the area secretary will share his screen with the motion form, and a person will use the blue raise hand feature and be called on with the proposed wording of the motion. So for example, if I, as Jane D, on my demonstration computer, if I'm the one that wants to make the motion, I'm going to click my blue raise hand, and our tech helper will be unmuting me so I can voice my motion, and I'm going to put up the motion form as well on my screen because that's what the area secretary will be doing. Okay, I've got a message here that says the host would like me to unmute, so I'm going to unmute. Okay, hello, my name is Jane D, and I would like to make a motion here. I'm from District 6. My home group is Serenity Sunday, and my position is that I'm a group rep, and I move that we adopt Rocky Road as our favorite Area 9 ice cream for Convention 2021 because it rocks. Get it? All right, so that's me making the motion. I am going to, oh, yep, I'm going to be muted, and I can lower my hand myself, or I can be muted by the tech helper. In this case, I was muted by the tech helper, which is great. So at this point, a call will be made for someone to second the motion. So I'll pretend I'm the area chairperson, and could we get someone to second the motion? And this could be anybody in this webinar, whoever wants to raise their blue hand first to second the motion. Okay, I see District 10's DISL, and go ahead and unmute that person, please. Our tech helper, please unmute them. Oh, that's right. Yes. All that the tech helper can do is ask. Right. So you'll get that message on your screen that says you've been asked to unmute yourself. Okay. And for purposes of anonymity, I'm going to use a different name, but go ahead and mention what district you're from and group. All right. Great. Thank you for seconding that emotion. No. Yeah, second that emotion. All right. Well, thank you very much. And now you can either lower your hand or the tech helper will put you back on mute. Then the AIR chairperson will ask for any discussion on the motion. After all the discussion, it will move to a vote. And for assembly, only the group reps are the voters. So during the actual assembly, we'll be running a practice vote. And this will be right before the first break. So we want to make sure that all the GRs that were present during the roll call can cast their vote. And we're doing it before the break because if anybody has technical issues, we can work on that during the break and not hold the meeting up. So if any GR has any technical issues, and if they're unable to cast a vote on their screen with the online poll that we'll show you in just a minute, they will still be able to cast their vote by sending it as a private message directly to the area secretary through the chat feature. And for this webinar, though, we're going to pretend everybody here in this call is a group rep and that they can vote. So I'm going to launch the poll, and let's see, our poll about the ice cream, our motion regarding the ice cream. So I'm going to launch that. So it should be appearing on everyone's screen. And then you can vote yes, no, or abstain. And the co-host and the host are not allowed to vote. So let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 voters. And I've got me as a voter. And if you want, you can even move the poll over to the left or the right if you want to look at the motion wording again that's on that motion form that's on the screen. And I'm going to say that's my vote for this one, just to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to hit submit, the blue button submit. All right, and so we've got 8 of 9 voters. Let me just do a quick recount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is there anybody that did not vote that is having any issues? Or maybe somebody has gone to the bathroom, which also happens at assembly. People might be out in the room when they vote. So if you did have any technical issues and you do not see the poll on the screen that's presented right now, you can send me a private chat. That's exactly how it'll work in assembly. We're sure that there will probably be at least one person, because we have one person at AWC, or 2 people, I think. So some people can see it, and some people, for whatever reason, were not able to see this poll. But all right, I'm going to do end polling. And then I'm going to share the results with everybody on your screen. So you can see that we had on my screen, I see the total counts as the host. I see that we had 6 people that said yes, they like that motion. 1 person said no, and 1 person said abstain. But you on your computer will see just the percentages. And the tech helper launching the poll will be reading out the counts, so it's recorded for the area secretary on the audio recording. So I'm going to stop sharing those results for the poll. And thank you very much for everyone that participated. And I'm going to stop sharing the motion screen and go back to regular screen here. All right. Get caught up here. So that's basically it. Hold on. That wraps up the basics of how the assembly will run. It's important to remember that this is going to be our very first virtual assembly, and nothing will go perfectly. So bring lots of patience. Be sure to wear pants. Did I mention that already? Make sure to wear pants. Because you don't want to be that person. The day of the assembly, the Zoom meeting will be open at 8:30 in the morning, so that'll be 30 minutes before the 9 a.m. start time. The room will also remain open during the entire lunch break for socializing. Members will be able to unmute themselves at that time during the lunch break to talk amongst themselves, have lunch with other Al-Anon members, that kind of thing. You do not need to remain connected during the lunch break. Oh, and I just want to point out for unmuting during the lunch break, again, the controls that come up at the bottom when you hover your mouse, the mute and unmute button is the far left corner. So during lunch, you'll be able to use that to unmute yourself. Okay, I just want to make sure I covered that. So you do not need to remain connected during the lunch break. You can sign out and sign back in. For the afternoon session, the Zoom meeting ID and the password will be the same as the morning session. So you can just go have lunch on your own if you want. Come rejoin with the same information. Once the assembly finishes, the room will continue to remain open for an Al-Anon spiritual meeting, and that will be from 4:15 to 5:15 p.m. Lastly, I'm still in the process of looking for tech helpers. I have a sign-up sheet, sign-up spreadsheet that I can send anybody that shows what each tech helper will be doing, such as this person's job is muting and unmuting, this person will be doing screen sharing, that kind of thing, and what the skills are required to do that position. So it would be great if I could get maybe 8 people to help out, so I can have the morning session and also the afternoon sessions covered. The sooner a tech helper contacts me, the sooner they can get first dibs on what they'd like to volunteer for. So early bird gets the worm. But the tech helpers, the only stipulation is we do not want them to be a group rep or part of panel 58. So anybody that maybe would be considered a gem, that kind of person, or maybe they just want to help out, but they've never been to an assembly before. Okay, I'll get back on script. I'm sorry, Spanish coordinator, got off script a little bit there. We have a little bit of time left. We have, actually I have quite a bit of time. We have still 20 minutes left. And so we're going to open the floor for Q&A. So if anybody has a question about the virtual assembly, please use the blue raise hand feature in your participant screen so you can be called on. And our Spanish coordinator has a request. I see hands going up already. That's fantastic. I see our Spanish coordinator has a request that please keep your questions simple because this is the part where we go off script and she's no longer copying and pasting. She actually has to type in the questions manually. And I will be calling on you by your position rather than your name. So let's start with the first person that rose their hand, District 3, DISL. If you could be unmuted. Good morning. Actually, I'll be showing that in a demonstration video that's going to be tacked on to this video. Because once you're in a meeting, it's hard to go back out and then show you how to get back in to rename yourself. But there is a screen that, and just to repeat your question to make sure I got it, you want to know how to rename yourself before you enter a meeting. Yeah, that I'll show on a smaller tutorial video that will be grouped together with this big one. Because the only thing I can show you while we're in the meeting is how to rename yourself while you're in. But we realize some people might have a default setting that already, as soon as you click join a meeting, it logs you in with that name already, so maybe you don't even have a chance to name yourself. And that's why it's okay. It's, if we can get 80 or 90% of the people to rename themselves before they come in, then that's just less work for the tech helpers to do. But yes, I'll be including how to rename yourself before you enter a meeting in a smaller tutorial video that I'll be recording probably tomorrow, because I feel like my voice is already going. But yes, that will be covered. That, along with how to register, will be a separate little video that will all be grouped together with one big video. All right, great question. All right, let's go to District 12, District Rep. I see you've got your hand raised. And our tech helper. Hi. Oh, okay. So I'll repeat your question so I've got it recorded here. And so I understand it. Will the area secretary be doing the roll call, or will the district reps be doing the roll call for their own district? I think at assembly, we've always done, and maybe the area chairperson can clear me up on this. Oh, the secretary will not be doing the roll call for everyone. Just for the panel? Ah. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. I agree. I definitely agree. So I just want to repeat back what you said so I have it recorded for the video that, and this is from our area chairperson, that the roll call for assembly will not be done as I just demonstrated. That will be done only for panel 58 members up to and including the DISLs. Okay. DRs and DISLs. Okay, so just the panel 58 members will be using that example that I showed in the video. And that's similar to what we did at AWSC, so there's no change there. And that the roll call then will be done really by assessing who has pre-registered and who has on the actual registration form, as well as who has given you as far as a DR. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that'll. Oh, there you go. You can chat privately with each other. Um, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Right. Yes, and the tech helpers, some of the positions I have are people that their only job is to rename people. And the reason that we're asking for this naming system to be the district number first, then your position, is anybody can look down that list. You know, if you're a DR for District 9, you can look at all the people that are listed as 09 because they'll be all grouped together. And yeah, if people come in late, the tech helpers will be helping them rename themselves so they can pop up. And hopefully we'll have everybody in the meeting before roll call even begins, because we're doing the legacies and the discussion procedures, electronic etiquette. So there's time involved for that to bring in latecomers. But then yes, using this naming system, you can see automatically how many GRs you have, because it goes district number and then the position and then the names. Yes. Yes, that's perfect. Yeah, that's a lot better than doing roll call for 250 people. I agree. I wasn't sure if we were doing that though. Okay, well, as far as the demonstration video, I'll make a little big asterisk, I guess, on that roll call saying this is really only for panel 58 members, which includes DRs and DISLs. It's for essence of time to speed up roll call. Yeah, and we'll get quicker as we do more of these. But that's again a place where we have to pack our patience for sure. All right, we still got 10 minutes to go. Those are really good questions about how to handle roll call. District Rep from District 12, I see you re-raised your hand. Oh, okay. I would say, and maybe this is something too that the area chairperson can speak on. I would say that yeah, your panel position is first. And I think the other reason why your panel position should come first before a GR position is because when we're looking through that list, we'll need to see the one person that stands out in that district. And it will help the GRs as well to see that name standing out in the list. For example, if I'm the area tech coordinator, but I'm also a GR for District 6, then yeah, I would list myself as 06. So for my district number, I would say tech cord, to abbreviate coordinator, I'd say cord, and then GR, space GR. Because if anybody is looking for, if they want to, especially if they want to use the chat privately, you know, they'll be looking for a name that says area treasurer if they want to send a message to the treasurer, or if they want to send a message to any panel member. I think the panel position should be first, and then GR. Yeah, I think that's a great question. Yeah, and I see that I'm getting the agreement head nod from our area chairperson, so that's fantastic. All right, great. We got another question. We got District Rep District 1. You're on the line. Come on in. Hello. So the question was, can I send out the sign-up spreadsheet for the tech helpers? And I just want to make sure that you would like me to send that out to like maybe all panel members or just the district reps, because you're district reps. I'm not sure what you meant by the sending it out to everybody. Okay. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I can definitely send it. Yeah, yeah, I can definitely send it out to all the DRs. What I'll do though is I'll create a PDF of the spreadsheet. That way, because I think if I send the spreadsheet out when I'm asking people to sign up on it, I'm actually sharing it with them as a collaborator so they can fill in their name. But if you're just looking to have people review it and see if it's something they want to do, I'll just do a PDF and send it out to all the DRs. I'm going to make a note of that. To DRs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I can definitely send it out to all the DRs. We have a group email address for that, and that way there's not double duty being done in the district. Like if you're sending it and the DISL thinks they need to send it or whatever. So that's a good call. That's a good question. Yeah. Yeah, and that would be a big help to me for sure. Yeah. Whether they're voluntold or volunteered. um, I know. Like I said, the sooner they contact me, they have the pick of whatever they want to do. All right. Thank you very much for that question. I'm going to go over to our DISL for District 9. I see she's got her hand raised. Okay. Oh, I see. Yes. Okay, you changed your name for a panel, and then your GR position. So yes, DIS 09 DISL GR. Yeah. Woo! Look at you doing district meeting and a webinar back to back. Yeah. Yes, guests can come. Just like a regular assembly, we like to have it be open for anybody to come. I think that because we will still ask them, just like at assembly, a face-to-face assembly, when guests come, we still ask them what district they're in. So their screen name will still start with their district number, and then it'll say visitor. So it'll be starting with a V. So that will kind of put them down lower behind, DISLs, DRs, GRs, visitor, and then their first name and last initial. And this will be on the registration form as well, because on the registration form, the person has to answer what district they're coming from and if they're attending as visitor, and we even have a spot for other as far as district number. Like if we have the South Florida delegate, she won't have a district number because she's not part of Area 9. So we have a thing in the registration form now that if you're coming from like outside Area 9, you can choose other. Yes. Yes, so they'll be listing. Yes, but they'll still be listed by their district number and then GEM, like GEM, and then first name, last name. But if they're not coming as a GEM and just as a guest, like you said, they just want to kind of hang out and see how everything goes and, see behind the curtain of all this Al-Anon business work that we do, they're definitely welcome, and they'll just be listing themselves as the district number and then visitor. And then, I see I got thumbs up. All right, nice. And then the first name and last name. that is another great question. How to register? We are going to have a registration form, and it will be posted on the area website. It will be specifically on the events page of the area website. And similar to how we did AWSC, there was like a little picture of a person holding a sign that said, register here, register our online registration. So you can, and there'll be also places to click, but you can click on the picture if you want. There'll be the date. You can click on the date. But as far as how you get instructions to people in the district to say, hey, go register, the best way is to say, go to the area website on the events page. Now I'm pretty sure too that when it does go live, I'll be sending an email with the link in there. But that's, you know, yes. But say if a if DISL from District 9, if she doesn't want to send your specific email out to everybody, she can just, or like the visitor, you know, the visitor she wants to invite, she can just say, oh, go to the area website, the events page, and it'll be very clear. There's going to be 2 events. There's going to be one for the assembly, and the other one's for convention, which is not happening until next year. So it'll be very clear if you go to the convention email, convention registration. But that's the simplest way, is just to go to the Area 9 website, the events page. There'll be a specific, it's the usual questions like your first name, last name, district, your home group name, and then we'll get to a part in there that mentions the screen naming system that we're using. And I'm even going to include a little screenshot image example. And then we'll say, kind of like, based on this information, please enter what your screen name would be. So when that person sends that registration off, the group records coordinator and I can see, did this person understand? Did they get the naming system correct? If not, we'll probably reach out to them, or we'll just know that we need to maybe help rename them when they come into the meeting. We're not sure exactly how many people are going to register, but yes, there'll be a specific question about that on the registration form that will explain, you know, don't use symbols, don't use, you know, no hyphens, dashes, periods, because it just looks a lot cleaner if it's just spaces, as you can see on this participants list here. Very clean looking. But yes, that's a good question. It'll be on the registration form for sure. Yes. And it'll be covered in the how-to tutorial video as well. All right, we got more hands going up. And again, I realize it is a little after 3, so if anybody needs to leave, if you gotta cut out, I understand, that's okay. But we'll keep taking questions until there are no more questions. All right, our area chair, go ahead and ask your question. Unmute, yes. Mm-hmm. That can only be done by the host, so that would be me. Yes. Well, I will be Well, I'm only assigning though. I'm not monitoring the chat. As soon as the person that will be monitoring the chat will be over in the kitchen. This person is very good with Zoom, and he can run in and tell me, hey, I need to go in a tech room with so-and-so. So that yes. Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, during, so just so I can make sure I repeat the previous question, so I've got it for the video. You had asked if I would be the one to put people into the tech room, and yes, as a host, I don't think co-hosts cannot assign people into tech rooms, so only the host can do that. But I will not be going into the breakout room. I'm just saying, yes, you and you go into the tech room, and I open that room. Yeah. Yeah, Sally, the tech helper, and Jane go into the tech room, and they'll actually, when they're done, they'll come back in themselves. I don't even need to close the room. And okay, so the other question you asked was that during the hour and a half lunch break, will we have it's what I call a countdown clock. And yes, the countdown clock will show up. I agree that the 5-minute countdown clock will be the good one to run as we get closer to coming back into, I think it was the 1 o'clock hour or 1:30. 1:30 when we come back for the afternoon session. Yeah, so at 1:25, I'll share my screen so everybody can see this countdown clock going. And then, that gives them time to wrap up their conversations and get ready to be, put on mute all and get back to the business at hand. So, yeah, and we have several countdown clocks. We've got the 10-minute, the 15-minute, and the 5-minute, and the 3-minute. So whichever one you call out for in a particular time. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. When do you get your Zoom ID and password? That will be only given out after you have registered. And the process of registration is you don't get it automatically. What you do get is just a little note that says, we received your registration and you'll be contacted shortly. Because the group records coordinator needs to cross-check that yes, you're actually with particular home group XYZ, and then she'll send out, either she or somebody else or myself, maybe one of the registration gems, will send out an email once she's done the cross-check that says, here's your official confirmation, registration confirmation, here's the Zoom meeting ID and password. Please do not post it anywhere. This is information that is just private, within Area 9. Very similar to what we did at AWSC. We feel that's the safest way to go. Yes, so that's when you'll be getting the meeting ID and the Zoom ID. So after the cross-check is done. Yeah. So it might be a few days after you register. It might be, you know, it depends on how quickly the group records coordinator. And it might be a task that she just gives to her registration gems to do. And then it can be done a lot quicker. So that's kind of her call. But yeah, we got to do our cross-checking first. And just as a side note, for AWC, we actually, because our registration form is live to the world on that area website, we did get people that were just saying, they filled out the full registration form, but then they said, I just want to know where virtual meetings are in my city. You know, so they weren't even trying to come to AWC. That was just their way of trying to reach out for help. So, so we've got to pre-screen everybody, so that we're not just giving out that meeting ID to people that have, you know, to come to assembly and think you're coming to a regular Al-Anon meeting is a very different thing. So we gotta make sure they know what they're in for. It's business. It's all business. A little bit of fun. You'll just recruit them right away. They become volunteers. Well, I know that I did see a hand raised from District 1. District Rep is, but I see the hand was lowered. If you want, if you still have time, we can answer a question unless it was already answered. I don't see any other hands raised, though, on the participants panel, which is fantastic. So I guess we've answered everybody's questions. So I'll go back to my script now. I will give our Spanish coordinator a break. Oh, look at that. She says yes. From all the manual typing that she's been doing. You know, and maybe one of the tech helpers I can put on the list is if anybody wants to, you know, type Spanish as people are talking. Oh, I see we got one more hand. Sorry, Spanish coordinator. I see District 9's DISL raised her hand. No. That's a good question. I'll just repeat it for the video. That you thought everybody from the panel 58 would be on this webinar, but no, that's not the case. This webinar is really just to create a semblance of an assembly. So an example of assembly, what to look forward to at assembly, and everybody in this is participating, which is helping out for the tutorial video that I'm gonna, once we're done, I'm gonna go and edit it, and it becomes a tutorial video. You've always been special. Whatever made you think you weren't special, you're special. This webinar, just like all the other webinars, they're not requirements. This is purely so I can get like this Q&A to happen, because if I just did the tutorial video by myself, then I would have, you see how much I would have missed, because I wouldn't have even thought of some of these good questions. So your participation was definitely special and definitely worthy, and but no, this was not a requirement, and really this was just for the invitation was only for panel 58 members and district webmasters to participate in a way to create this or flesh out this tutorial video that will be available to everybody. And I'm hoping to have this ready by Wednesday as well, when we go live with the registration. So that as a DR or as a DISL, you guys can then send this video link you know, the edited anonymous version video, I'll send you guys a video link, just like all the other webinars, and then you guys can email that out to say, okay, if you want to see, you know, from beginning to end, from registration and this tutorial video with all the Q&A, here it is. Here's everything that you need to know for assembly. So yes, I did need people on this call to, you know, to show like how to do a motion, how to do roll call, the voting, stuff like that, and to show the side panel how that looks with the rename feature. So it really helped to have more people on this webinar than just me. And it's a good practice run for assembly, for our virtual assembly. All right. Well, if there are no more questions, I don't see any other hands going up, and it's about 3:16, so that's pretty good timing. Thanks for hanging in there, everybody. And again, especially our Spanish coordinator, who is probably definitely looking for a break right now. So I'm going to go back to the script. Thank you for attending today. I also want to give a big thank you to our Spanish coordinator and also our convention chair, who has been helping with the muting and unmuting. They both agreed to be tech helpers for this webinar, and I'm so thankful for them. And if you have any questions, you can always reach me at my area technology email address, which is technology58@afgarea9.org, and I'll be putting that on the screen on the finished video. And that's it. So thank you very much, and I'll see you at assembly. I'm going to stop the recording, but I can keep the room open if anybody just wants to talk. But let me at least stop the recording, and that will make it in the can, as they say in the business.